What did I just read?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the first episode or the welcome episode of What Did I Just Read? I'm Holly,
And I'm LA.
and I think we're
Yeah.
ready to just take off. This is our
I think so.
podcast about the books that we've read.
We're two friends that have the funniest part, I think, is that we've never met in person.
No,
We have never
not yet.
physically met each other in person yet. But we got together through a friend of ours, Carly. So shout out Carly. And we just loved reading books and talking about it. And we thought, hey, I didn't really think of this. I think it was
No, I think it was you. You were the one who said we should start a podcast. And I was like,
No.
heck yes. Yes.
No, I don't think so. And if I did, great on me. But
Because I'm definitely sure I jumped aboard the podcast train.
yeah, no, well, it's fun. I think sometimes we read so much and we just want to talk about it. And I don't know if it was the same for you, but my husband was just so annoyed with me. I would finish a book and I'd run over to him and I'm like, I have to tell you everything. And he was he was great at first. And then after like the 15th book, he said, you need to have friends.
And you're like, wait, what are those?
I'm too busy
Because
reading.
that's how mine was. Or for my husband, I would be like depressed on the couch. He'd be like, what's wrong? He's like, nothing. I just have a really bad book hangover. I just need a moment.
I love that. Book hangover.
And now I have somebody to talk through my book hangovers about, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I haven't laughed this hard and because I think what happened was, so we started reading books together, trying to we were big, or we still are, Taylor Jenkins Reid's fans. Just
Yeah. Well, that's how our friend Carly hooked us all up, because we had just finished reading, my favorite book currently, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn
Oh,
Hugo.
yes,
I still have a book hangover from that.
same.
Crushing. And yeah, she knew that you had just finished that book, and I had finished it like a month before, and I think she had also just finished that book, and she's like, let's get all of us together and another friend, Cammie, who had also finished that book, and let's just have a little powwow.
And we were in a group text or a group chat text, and we would send hundreds of texts a day. We just couldn't shut up about it. But then me and you, I think was it Ice Planet Barbarians that we realized.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's when we had to branch out, and that's when we became super BFFs.
Yes, because we started reading some kinky erotic shit. And like, and Amy and Carly both read. I mean, they're just as eclectic as us in our reading. But we read some, Holly, we read some trash, some good.
Hey, Ice Planet Barbarians is not trash.
Oh man. And I think when we started talking, like, am I planning this right in my head when we started talking about, at least not Ice Planet Barbarians, I thought we talked about, I think it was the Twisted Love series by Anna Huang.
Well, I think it started with Ice Planet Barbarians. The Twisted Love series was our first buddy read.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then we kind of were like, we need to continue because we laughed. Honestly, it was just a giggle fest.
Making your way through those books was, oh my gosh, it was fine in the beginning until the very end, and that's when I think we were both rage reading the fourth book.
Yes,
we really
terrible.
It's so bad.
Oh, I love it. So that's kind of how our friendship bloomed and how we got to know each other and how we started this podcast. But really, I think this trailer too is to get to know. Well, I want to get to know you more.
I want to get to know you more. Well, and I guess we should also explain why we have never actually met in person. When we actually both from the same part of Texas. So LA grew up in Cedar Park, which is near outside of Austin, and I grew up in Pflugerville, which is also a suburb of Austin. So growing up, we were not far apart. We could have met,
We could have. Yes. Yeah.
but we did not,
Never did. No.
unfortunately. Yeah, we would go separate ways. You would go to A&M, and I would go to UT. Forever enemies.
Do we have our own romance story? We just
Are
don't know
we?
it.
It's almost like an enemies to lovers.
The lovers. I love it.
But
I love
it's
it.
true.
I think you're leaning more towards friends. We'll talk about that
I
later. But
I have a question
okay.
for you.
Okay.
So, I came up with a little questionnaire for people to get
Love
to know us better. Oh, wait, we didn't finish why we've never met in
yeah.
person.
Welcome to the podcast, people.
Yeah, this is us. We cannot think in a straight line. So LA currently lives in Texas still, and
Pflugerville.
and in Pflugerville.
Mhm.
And I am, just in case people want to triangulate where she is. I'm in Bucharest, Romania. Hopefully one day to be back in Texas, but currently on the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes it fun, though.
Yeah. We'll see each other for realsies this summer, though, and I'm super
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah. It will be fun. I don't know
Right.
what I'm going to do. I'm just going to just not. I know.
I feel shy and timid, like, oh my God.
It's the weirdest thing you've ever said.
Talking like multiple times a week.
I wonder if we when we interact in front of each other, we just don't even finish our sentences, and our husband never hate us.
What?
So
All right. Are you ready for my first question? All right.
Yes.
How do you normally read books?
I'm a physical reader, specifically hardbacks, because I am bougie.
Just so everybody knows, LA has quite the impressive book
Oh,
collection. It
no,
is
no.
ginormous.
Do you know what's funny is that the panini happened right in 2020, and I thought, oh, I could have used that time to read. Now looking back, because I just started picking back up reading, and I just started my collection, and I literally have a closet full of books. But I need to start going electronic. But no, I'm a hardback girly, and I take off the dust jacket. I do not dog ear, and so I use a bookmark. That's all me. But Holly,
Oh,
how do you read?
How do I read? I mainly read on my Kindle, on my e-reader. Yeah, I have a very deep love affair with my Kindle Paperwhite. I love it so much. And it's got so bad that every day on Amazon, I am looking at the daily deals, and in our group chat, I'll find one and I'll send it to everybody because 3 of us have Kindles, not LA. But I also read on my Kindle, because getting English books or books in English here in Bucharest is a little tricky, and expensive.
Mhm.
So I found the Kindle to be cost efficient and so freaking easy to read. And also, I have young children, and when I'm putting my daughter to bed, I'm often reading on my Kindle because it's backlit and it's super easy on the eyes, which also probably isn't good for my sleep. I also listen to a lot of audiobooks, but never a spicy book.
No, what's in your audiobooks? I do the memoirs in audio by the authors, but what do you listen to?
I've listened to a lot of right now, I'm listening to a lot of the Brandon Sanderson series. And
Ooh.
it's really eclectic. Honestly, the Audible is run by my husband, so whatever he has picked up is what I'm picking up. And right now it's a lot of Brandy Sandy, and I am making my way down the line. I am almost finished with The Way of Kings,
Jeez Louise, that is a tome.
but it is so good. Highly recommend.
Really?
So good. Yeah.
All right.
And then it is actually very rare for me to read a IRL book.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm your polar. Yeah. I just it's so weird. I like to smell books, and
I feel, but now that you just need to test out a Kindle, just one book. Not on mine
Right.
because I
So
need my Kindle, but
I think you're 100% right. And I hear you. But like, I even have little bags that I save from the indie store that I go to. And like, so when people come over, I like have the bag and I just fill it with some of them and give it to them.
that is the one bad thing about the Kindle, though, is that you can't pass on books. That
Yeah.
that kinda hurts me because I would love to pass on a good book to a friend,
Yeah. Yeah.
but somehow I survive.
You got me, girl. I probably have it. We'll just move in together. So when we have
Mhm.
people come over, it could just be like,
You read this one.
yes.
Alright, so since our podcast mostly currently features mostly romance books, I was wondering what was your first romance that you read? I feel like I can guess the author at least.
For me, for you,
For you.
I
Are
don't
you
know
ready?
yours.
Was
Wait,
it not spicy though, just a romance. Can you think of it?
I
What it would
know you
be?
haven't read 50 Shades. I
Oh,
know that
no.
for a
Well,
fact.
I'm talking not spicy. Let's go not spicy first.
Not romance, not spicy.
Just romance, not spicy. I bet I can guess the author.
Is it the same? Do you think it's the same?
Maybe. Are you
Tell me
ready?
yours first. No, I don't know it.
Mine is definitely Jane Austen because I'm basic. Pride
I've
and
never read.
Prejudice, for sure.
I've
Stop.
never. I've never. Because I told you
The look on my jaw is hitting my desk. How have you never read Pride and Prejudice?
this is how the podcast broke up.
This is it. First episode and goodbye.
Well, so I told you that my coworker Deanna has her friend that's doing the Jane Austen books this year, and I said I wanted to join it because I've never read a Jane Austen. I've only seen the movies, and I feel like that doesn't count.
No.
Yeah, I
Oh my
know.
God.
Yeah, I've never read one.
Oh my
Not one. And I've never read a Dickinson either.
Have I?
Emily
Yeah, I've
Emily
definitely read
Dickens.
that. She's the poet. Charles Dickens, you mean?
No, Emily.
Do you mean Bronte?
That one.
Yeah. We're also very well educated.
Also coming from a girl who has a literature degree.
Wait, but it's literature, not classics.
True. I never took a
Classics
classics
was
course. No, never.
wow.
Yeah.
That's okay. Neither have I. I have a degree in theater.
So wait, so Jane Austen's is your first, but which
Mhm.
one? Actually,
Pride and
what's your
Prejudice.
favorite?
Well, okay. So once I read Pride and Prejudice, I was like, I'm going to read all of her not big ones. So I read like Mansfield Park, what is it? Northanger Abbey. So I read all like her B books, and I haven't read her big ones like Emma and Sense and Sensibility and people. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Persuasion, I also haven't read, but I've read all the others, but the big ones, which is so silly. We should read those together.
We should read those together. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, spicy romance. What was your first one?
I think like I got it from my mother. Which is like the funniest thing, but I think it's so now at the time like a few years ago, I don't think anybody heard about it except probably middle-aged women, but it was Outlander by Diana Gabaldon.
I have read the first 4 of those.
Same, Fiery Cross did me in, so I stopped.
Wait, what happened in
Fiery
Oh,
Cross was the 5th one. So it
one?
was like
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I read 4.
Yeah,
Is
so
that
like
when
when they
they're
went to
coming to the US?
yeah,
Okay,
United
yeah.
States with the autumn, the light blue one.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
listened to it on Audible. I don't know the code.
We're gonna do this all the time.
Maybe I do listen to spicy books.
I think
But that
you
was it.
do.
That was
Yeah.
it though. But I don't count that as my first spicy read. But
I
I guess I
did.
could.
Oh
But
yeah, because when Claire and Jamie had sexy time, like
Mhm.
it was for me who'd never because I was 15 at the time
Oh,
that I read
uh-huh.
it. Yeah, and then right afterwards, I think I read 50 Shades, and did
Okay.
Twilight, and that because that was my era. That was like when all the movies were coming out, and it was
Yeah.
all that stuff. But what about you? It's
Bridgerton, the Bridgerton series. I had never really like picked up a spicy book in my life. And I, honest to God, didn't know Bridgerton was going to be spicy when I read it because I watched the show and I was like, this is really good. This seems like a good, like, fun, happy romance series to read. And I picked up the first one. I was like, this is really fun to read.
So your introduction to spicy is like recent and new.
Yeah, last year.
Wow. That's insane.
And now I've read quite a lot of it.
Yeah. Pegging. We'll get to
That
that.
episode coming soon.
Oh, I love it. I love
Um,
it. Well,
all
so
right.
that's a good. I'm gonna steal your next question if that's okay.
Good.
Because I'm most interested because we mentioned it before, but so your favorite trope
Mhm.
to read. Like, what's your favorite trope, and then which one do you think you read the most often? I'm gonna tag that on.
Yeah. Oh, I don't. That's gonna be hard for me to answer. I guess. Okay. So first, my favorite tropes. I have two that are my
Mhm.
favorite. My first favorite used to be enemies to lovers because I just love it. There's so much passion from the beginning that starts with hate and then rolls into love, and I love it because it just feels like
Yeah.
it doesn't stop. The
Yeah.
emotions are always high.
Yeah.
And then my new favorite one, which I realize that hits me the hardest, are second chance romances. And
Oh.
I think what hits me is the wasted time.
Yeah.
That just like hits me right in the gut. And it just
Yeah.
like gives me all the feels like, oh, you should have been together this whole time. And
Yeah.
except for when the second chance romance, I don't like it when there's a misunderstanding. A simple misunderstanding, second chance romance doesn't do it for me. Then I
Yeah.
think it's lame. It
Yeah.
had like a real thing that broke them apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Not like
Evelyn
not a
Hugo.
miscommunication. Yeah.
Yeah, like Evelyn Hugo had a real reason for them being apart.
Yeah.
That I really enjoyed. I can't think of an example of another book where it's like a miscommunication that I thought was just so lame. And then I
Well,
guess a close third would be friends to lovers for me. Recently, though, the trope that I've been reading the most, and honestly, it's complete accident, I think, because I read blind. So I'll just pick up a book
mhm.
because like somebody said it was good, or it was really highly rated, or I've seen it pop around on like book talk or like a Facebook group. But recently, the trope that I've been reading the most is second chance romance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
What
love
about
that.
you?
I am such a basic bee. Because I similar to you though, I like enemies to lovers, but you know what trope I really like is I really like happily ever afters. I
Oh,
do.
yeah, I do.
Oh, wait, if it ends on like somebody dying or like an ambiguous doesn't like go full circle, I'm pissed. Like
Yeah.
I
No,
don't
I'm right
care.
there with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care how good the writing was and the plot was, how much I enjoyed it. Like the ending to me is it weighs a lot on my whole
Your whole
perspective.
being. Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm right. Yeah.
That's that's what I think. So, well, okay, so then what's your least favorite?
Um, age gaps, I think.
Yeah.
I don't like big age gaps. And I mean, if it's done right, I enjoy it. Like if it's not mentioned a whole lot. Cause
Mhm.
sometimes like the jokes are made where they're calling like the other person like a dinosaur or do you need to go see a doctor for
Oh,
your heart? Or if the word daddy is involved, I'm done.
uh-huh.
I'm
Mhm.
done.
Mhm.
I don't want to read it anymore.
I just finished. Do not read that book then. You made a fool of death with your beauty. Do shoot her. Shoot off your head.
Oh, it's already on my Kindle though.
Don't do
Oh,
it.
oh God. Well, thank you for the warning.
You are so welcome. I think the one I it's my least favorite, but I don't hate it. Um, I think it would probably be like forced proximity. Like they are in a tent together and like can't leave, or like they're in a small. I hate small town.
Yeah,
I
you do
do.
hate your small
I
towns.
Oh my god, f off small towns. I don't like it.
Why?
I
Why don't you
just
like the small towns?
I find them cheesy. Like I think of like a Hallmark Netflix like TV show, I guess, and it's kind of like I guess people refer to it as like popcorn or something that's very just like light, and I don't, and they're usually set in small. I don't like it. I like when there is more scenery. I like when there is more setting. Like if they travel, if they go on some sort of adventure, or if they go from here to there, or whatever. Like
Yeah,
I like all of that. So I don't like, yeah, I don't like that.
yeah.
Or I like, well, fake dating to me sometimes can be a total miss.
Yeah, yeah, for me too. Like, sometimes I really like it, and then sometimes it's like, it's been done so much, and it can be done so poorly.
Yes.
And also sometimes I don't really like the economic disparity, like, if somebody is super rich and somebody is super poor.
Or yeah, the rags to riches one.
Yeah, I don't like sometimes those are just very cliche, and I don't like those.
Yeah. I think a lot of them are just, it's not that, I guess it is not least favorite. It's just one that you've heard or read or listened to like a bunch. And
Yeah.
you're just, unless there's some sort of unique twist on it, which makes it even that much better, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
that's true, yeah.
but yeah, that's what I would say.
Let's see. So I have here, what is the spiciest book you have ever read?
I mean, for sure, the pegging, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we just read a series together, which we will be releasing. And it's called Deal with a Demon series by Katie Robert. And there is one, but and here's it's like 120 pages, like teeny
Super
tiny.
short. It's a novella. All of them are
Yeah,
novellas, really. That's how
yeah.
I would classify them.
But holy shit, is it just jam packed full of
Yeah.
wow. And yeah, so I think that that one to me was the spiciest, 'cause I was like, "What is
Mhm.
going on? What is happening? I don't understand."
It was definitely my first pegging book as well.
Yes. Yeah. And I think, and I read one, so that one was called, A Demon's Bargain. So that
Mhm.
was the book title by Katie Robert. And then the craziest, like, so anything related, I don't dabble with BDSM in my personal life, and so for me, it's when I'm reading about BDSM or any other kinks that I'm not familiar with, like blood play or, like, having sex with a gun that's loaded, or
Oh, yeah. Are
like
you talking about a haunting and hunting Adeline?
no, I'm talking about, it's either, well, I think it's called Her Soul to Take by, I wanna say it's like Harley something. I can't remember right now, but that one, which is they have demons, and it is dark. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so I guess I'm kinda totally morphing your question, because it's not the most, it's the spiciest in that I've never read anything like that before.
Right.
I've never personally had that. I was
Mhm.
intrigued by it. But like the ones that get me going, like the
Is pegging.
it's not
Is there something we should tell Jackson? You want me to order you something from Amazon?
he would die. He would die. Do you know that when we did that recording, he like listened the whole time, and he like came in, he was like, "So how was the pegging with Holly?" And I was like, "No." Oh man. No, it was not pegging. No. I don't know. I think it's the ones that it's definitely like the enemies to lovers, and like kind of like a hate erotic, like you go
Mhm.
through this whole adventure and journey together, and then you have this very intense,
That's so lonely
very,
the whole time.
yes. And then it's very hard and sensual, and I do like some talk, but it has to be specific. And yeah, so I think that's what gets me going is like it really is the build up to it's not even really the sex scenes. It's just I think the characters and their relationship. What
Yeah.
about what about you?
I'm totally on board with what you're saying about like what gets me going in
Yeah.
books is like, this very same thing is the relationship between the characters and then just the tension
Yes.
and then finally like the climax for everybody. Uh,
Yeah.
but the spiciest book I have ever read, hands down, has to be Tangled in Tinsel by Trilina Pucci. It's Pucci? Pucci.
Isn't she coming out with a new one? I just heard her
I
name
don't know,
mentioned.
but that book, oh
Yeah.
my god. He me. That was my
Okay.
first it's also like a novella, it's very short, and it's a reverse harem situation, and I had never read one of those before, but I was very on board for that one. That was and what's really fun about it is she writes the heroine how she writes the heroine, she doesn't describe her looks, and she does it very purposefully so
Mhm.
that the reader can imagine themselves
That's amazing.
in her
That's
place.
amazing. You know what I just realized is that we probably need to sprinkle this in because when I first started like listening to like some other book podcasts or watching booktube or reading, there's a lot of terminology. What does reverse harem mean?
Oh, so, like, when you think of a harem, you think of one man with many women, right?
Mhm.
A reverse harem is the reverse of that. One woman with
Lots of dudes.
just batting away the dick.
Love it. I love it.
And so that's what I read. Just dicks everywhere.
We should read that for Christmas. That can be our Christmas
I
special.
mean, I don't usually reread books, but I would reread that one for you.
Oh, yes. Yes, yeah. Yeah, I don't reread either. Not a rereader.
Not a fan. In
Yeah.
fact, I had to reread for an episode we're going to have to record later,
Mhm.
and I was not a fan of rereading that one.
Well, yeah, especially when they're not
Not
I
your
would
favorite reads to begin with.
yeah, no, like when you don't like five-star, five spicy peppers, five everything. It's when it's just mediocre, it's just eh. But I was my mom told me once. She said sometimes like books are impactful because of your time in your life, right?
Oh, I like that, yeah.
Yeah, and then which is interesting to say because I wonder if like 5 years from now if we start reading some of these spicy books and we're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe. I'm sure
maybe.
there's quite a few spicy books that I gave 5 stars to when I was first starting when I first started reading them that are probably not 5 stars to me now.
Yes. Yeah,
Well, I think that goes for
exactly.
any book that I've read in the past, really.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Exact same.
Um,
Well well,
right, so I
speaking
have I
yeah,
have some I have some surprise questions here for you.
I have one too.
Ooh.
You tell me yours first, and then I have one.
Um, mine was outside of romance, what's your go-to genre?
That's so hard because if you were talking to me a year ago, I would have said fantasy or YA, like for sure. But now I'm like in a sci-fi kick. It's so weird. I've never read or a thriller. I've never read a thriller mystery until recently. And I
Really?
really, and I've never really read sci-fi before. And now I can't put that shit down. It's just, it's so good. I love outer space and I'm totally here for it. But I've never watched Star Wars and don't hate me for that. Don't come for me for that.
No, I won't.
What
I'll let
about,
you
but yeah, what about you?
fantasy for sure. I mean, I'm listening to Brandy Sandy. Yeah, and I also really love Lee Bardugo, and I just if the world is built, like, just so full and the magic is what's the word I'm trying to like, and
Magic system?
the magic system makes sense,
Yeah.
and I'm so there for it. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I totally agree. What's your favorite going back to romance though, that's my surprise question. What's your favorite subgenre of romance if you had one?
Um,
So we have
y
like sports romance, we have
Mhm.
dark romance, we have mafia romances, we have contemporary romances.
Yeah, I think that's where I was going to land. Contemporary romances are
Yeah.
my
Historical romances.
I was on a Julia Quinn kick when I first started, and I really liked those Regency ones, but then they all kind of started to sound the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Monster romances.
no, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Unless they're blue aliens.
Yes. Always, always blue aliens.
Unless they're blue aliens with rigid penises and a spur, then I'm on
The
fucking
furry,
board.
furry Kalui.
So yes, they're freaking I was so annoying to my husband. After I read those books, I was like, Zach, my cooey's purring for you.
Talking about.
He's in away from.
And if you have not read Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon, please go. What? Just go. It's so good.
Favor. Like, if you don't think you're into sci-fi romance, read those books and then circle back to us
Yeah. And let us
because you
know.
will change your mind. The first one's a little dark, but the rest of them, after like the first half of it,
Yeah. So good.
yeah,
So good. We got to read more of her stuff.
we do. All right. Anything else? Oh, I did have one more question. Okay.
Yeah.
Who are some of your Insta buy authors?
Well, I think both of us is Taylor Jenkins Reid.
Oh, hands down. Yeah.
And then both of us might be Emily Henry.
I have her new book on my Kindle currently for
They
pre-order.
were only selling hardbacks.
Oh.
So I know. So I was like, am I going to spend $25 on
This is coming from a girl who only buys hardbacks. And I was like questioning if I should buy because my romances are all in paperback. All of my romances are in paperback.
Okay.
Everything else is in hardback. And I was just like, I don't know if I can. I don't know. Because I'm like, with her.
Yeah. Well, I prefer like a paperback romance because that's the book that I'm just gonna like tote everywhere. And her
Yeah.
books are so like, I mean, she has one called Beach Read, and they are beach reads to
Beach
me.
reads.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. What other ones did you have on your list?
Lee Bardugo.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think you covered like the two. Who else?
Ruby Dixon now, probably.
Oh, yeah. But she has so many that like any new book that
Yeah.
comes out, I can't keep up.
No, it's like the 25th in the series. So
And it's like now a sub-series of the original series. Like I finished with the original girls and Ice Planet Barbarians, and now they're yeah.
yeah. I like T. Kingfisher. I've been really liking her stuff. I just bought her new book.
I was
Which
met
is
on Nettle and Bone, but I really like oh, what was that one?
what
How the
live
dead
yeah.
the dead move?
Yes. Yeah, something like that.
What moves the dead? What moves the
I like Martha Wells for my sci-fi pick. I fucking love the Murder Bot Diaries. They're so funny. You have to read them.
Oh,
They're
and
so
Gillian or Gillian Flynn. I really like
Gone
her
Girl.
thrillers. Yeah. Gone Girls, Sharp Objects. Oh my God. Those
All of
books,
her books have been
they're
made into
so good.
TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
TV series. Yeah. I think that's all of them. But I love this. I am so happy talking about books with you and
This
the
has been
world.
so much fun. I hope everybody else enjoyed our little Q&A. Got to know us a little bit better before you dive into the first episode.
Yeah. Well, Holly, what should they expect in these next couple of episodes, these upcoming episodes, you think?
What books should they expect, or what nonsense should they expect?
I think nonsense. Lots of laughing.
Lots of laughing. Lots of laughing. Lots of us just having fun talking about books. I think just having fun conversations and telling people what we liked and what we didn't like, what worked, what didn't work for us.
Yeah. These are, I don't know if when we should say this, but so all of our episodes are not spoiler free. So they do contain spoilers. So if that's something that you don't want to be spoiled for, then don't listen.
Yeah, treat us like you would treat your own book club. We have read these books and we are chatting about the whole book. We're not holding back.
Yeah.
We're Yep. We're here to talk about the book that we've just read.
And we want to hear from you too. So whenever there's going to be times that I misspeak or we go off on a tangent and it takes us a while to get back and we miss something, whatever it is, just comment, let us know, follow us, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and follow us on our Instagram at what is our Instagram again? Let me look at the acronym.
So
WDIJR,
DIJR.
the podcast. And
Mhm.
hopefully we'll get some stuff put up there soon.
It's coming
It's
soon.
all in the works, but it's coming
It's all-
soon. And it'll feel more real once it's done. And
Yeah.
this is actually out in the world.
Scary. I'm so excited to meet so many more people, book lover people though, and
Ew.
yeah, get more. I think the hardest thing too is like getting good recommendations. Like you might, see something. What is that? It's like literally it's a cover by syndrome or something. Like you just buy it because it looks pretty, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and that's definitely something. If there's a book that you want us to cover, definitely drop it in the comments and let us know. And maybe
Yeah.
it'll be our next read.
Oh, for sure. Holly would read it like that. I don't want to commit
Maybe.
to that. Oh my God.
All right. Well, I guess we will see you guys at episode 1.
Bye.
Bye.